Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and what a major that has just concluded. A phenomenal championship Sunday, so many great matchups. Concludes with, once again, Atlanta FaZe reasserting their dominance here in the CDL, winning this championship in the end in pretty convincing fashion up against the subliners, but it was far from easy from any of these teams. Going to be going through some unbelievable matches today. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, let's talk about the first series of the day. That was, of course, OpTic Chicago versus the Toronto Ultra. This, of course, the losers bracket was absolutely on fire today. And, well, this time, no team from losers could make the run. This, initially, at the start of the day, Tim the Tapman kind of known for jinxing teams here when he decides to, well, back them in these matches. And, well, we kind of see it once again here for OpTic Chicago. But they honestly put up such a phenomenal fight against the Ultra. They really could have won this series, and a heartbreaking loss for them. Game 5, round 11, despite all the ice that they have shown so far this tournament, they couldn't quite clutch up right when they needed to, right at the dying moment of this final map, as we will dive into. But first of all, though, OpTic looked so good in the start of this series. Ultra are clearly not an easy team to beat in hardpoint. We saw them just yesterday, destroying Los Angeles Thieves 250-14. Right here, OpTic come out swinging. I'm pretty sure they make a nice little comeback on this map as well. Scump has a phenomenal game 1, 31-18. Championship Sunday Scump once again comes to play in phenomenal fashion. 250-80, OpTic Chicago do manage to take the game 1, and well, Scump dominating the scoreboard, as you can see on screen. Dashy also with another phenomenal series statistically, but then we go into the search and destroy, and this one was a pretty interesting affair. Once again we see OpTic, they decided to stack up in the what I've kind of teamed OpTic corner. At least I did it a tweet, because I think there's like 3 times now. The accuracy one, once like earlier in the tournament, and now again they stack them in that corner. It doesn't really go too well for them, and well, it ends up not necessarily costing them a map. I mean, Dashy makes a great play right here to clutch the 1 versus 1 against Insight, but then the very next round they obviously find themselves lining up in this corner, as you guys can see on screen, and obviously that doesn't work out too well for them. They go down 4-3, and Ultra end up closing out the map. So obviously 1-1, pretty much as expected, I think, going into game 3 in this series. But the problem is with Ultra, they just do not lose controls. Right here in the control, they finish off their 13th control victory in a row. This, honestly, OpTic, I'm pretty sure the OpTic guys will look back at this and think, wow, we really could have done better here. We probably could have closed out a couple of these rounds. There was one of them, especially on the defense, that they really probably shouldn't have thrown away. The Toronto got the better of, and you can see right here as well, OpTic are trying to scramble over towards the point. OpTic, have got nothing to do against the Ultra, with Cammy getting incredible amount of streaks towards the end. I mean, they kind of fed him streaks in the very final round, and Cammy took over this series in a phenomenal way. We will see that in spades really when we go into this search and destroy. As round 11 stats says, Ultra's control win streak is just ridiculous. On raids, they're on a 7 win streak, tied with FaZe on Moscow Surge. And speaking of Moscow Surge for FaZe, we will see that here in a few minutes time. Then we go into another hardpoint though, and I was talking earlier today the fact that I didn't expect OpTic to win both hardpoints against Ultra, especially given how good they looked yesterday against the Thieves. But here it is, 100-0 early on. OpTic go up. I mean, Chickmay hardpoint is certainly their map. They were, well, not one to be messed around with on this map by any means. OpTic end up taking this one, and then we go into a game 5, and this was a phenomenal game 5, went all the way to the distance. Dashy had some great moments early on, and honestly, like, once again, one of these maps for OpTic where they just get so close, but yet so far in the very end. They look so much better this major. Let's not beat around the bush on that one. Against the Toronto Ultra here, one of the best teams in the game. They looked phenomenal, very competitive, and arguably looking back on this series, they should have won this, at least if you look at some of these search and destroy rounds where they lost a couple of 1 versus 1s. They arguably could have been up, and I'm pretty sure they might have been up 4-2 here or something. A lot of these rounds could have gone OpTic's way, but Ultra just find this clutch G-man in the search and destroys, and raid search and destroy is a very good map for them, especially. Goes all the way down to a game 5, round 11, and the OpTic guys can't get over the line. It was CleanX actually who had a really tough map 5, had a phenomenal game 5 at round 11 right here, and as Ultra take this series. So another heartbreak for OpTic, but yeah, so much improved right from these OpTic guys. We'll probably be talking about them tomorrow, because they've been looking obviously massively improved. This losers run was no joke by any means, and with the next major being on LAN, that could be even better for the OpTic guys going forward. So great to see them back on form. I think it's great for Call of Duty. I mean, the viewership as well on this was 130,000 viewers plus, I believe, for this game 5, which is yeah, remarkable scenes. I'm pretty sure that breaks the record so far this year, and hopefully more where that came from when we go onto LAN for the next stage. Some of the reactions from the OpTic guys: "This is so annoying, man," says Dashy, and as Scump says, "Another heartbreaker. GG's Toronto, we finished 4th in the major this time round. But of course, they make a championship Sunday for the first time. No shame in this defeat, to be honest, up against a team like Ultra, who are honestly so good right now. And as Formal says, damn it, man, so close. GG's Toronto, we lost well 5-6 last map. This ends our run here at the Stage 3 major. And of course, well, they finished top 4, that being $40,000 earned, 40 CDL points in addition. But yeah, looking so much improved. Honestly, they've improved so much on these last few days that I'm kind of surprised that they even made the run that they did at the very end. Great to see, all things considered. And well, maybe they can continue this form into Stage 4 when it does begin in a couple of weeks' time. Let's talk about the next series then. So, of course, Atlanta FaZe then faced the winner of that series. And either way, I think this went, whether Ultra won or OpTic won, you'd imagine that FaZe would have taken the victory in this series. FaZe come out absolutely swinging here on the Game 1 Garrison hardpoints, 250 to 123. Ultra's kind of struggles to some degree in the hardpoint continue, then into the search and destroy there here on raids, and Ultra once again reclaim their phenomenal form here on raid, search and destroy. They win this one in impressive fashion, 6-3, tie up the series, but then we go into a raid control, or Garrison control, sorry. And this, of course, a control in general on a 13 win streak for the Toronto Ultra. They haven't lost this since they lost it to FaZe way back at the Stage 2 major. The last time that Ultra lost to control was at the previous major where they played FaZe and also lost 3-0, I think, at the time on Raze. Here they're losing 3-0 to FaZe on a Garrison control, but I mean, Garrison, like, honestly, controls in general for FaZe. They just, well, if they win 3-0. I'm pretty sure, well, maybe the next one in the series later on in the day was their 11th victory in a 3-0 fashion in control this season, which is just remarkable. Cellium has some great moments here towards the end. And well, then though we go into a game 4, a raid hardpoint. This was a phenomenal map. Honestly, FaZe, I thought they were going to make the comeback right here, but Ultra clutch them in phenomenal fashion right towards the end. Send it all the way to a game 5, but a game 5 on Moscow Search and Destroy. This is a map that FaZe just do not lose. They haven't lost it so far this season. Pick your poison really if you're Ultra going into the series, trying to figure out what maps to play against these guys. But yeah, obviously FaZe on Moscow are not easy by any means, especially with aBeZy shooting like this. The individuals on FaZe really came to play today, especially given the fact that Simp really didn't have a phenomenal major by his standards. He certainly did decent numbers at times, had some good maps, but it really was, I mean, aBeZy at times, as you can see making this play right here. Cellium had some superb maps, and in the grand finals it was Arcitys really taken over. Towards the dying end of this one as well, we see Arcitys shooting bodies. I'm pretty sure he repeated the trick as well in the grand finals up against the subliner. So yeah, Arcitys certainly, well, showing what it's all about. They've been talking about this whole revenge tour, right, given the fact that they lost the last major in the grand finals to the Toronto Ultra, and there's been a big question about FaZe as of late. They weren't looking so good in their group early on. They lost to the subliners. Then there was a question as to whether FaZe can get back to where exactly they need to be, and well, they proved that spectacularly this weekend, looking very, very good. Of course, going through losers after losing to the subliners, but into the grand finals, have a phenomenal result there, and Arcitys, well, taking matters into his own hands, absolutely going off on the main stage and shooting bodies to boot. So Toronto Ultra, you know, of course, they won the last major. They still look phenomenal. I think, honestly, the top 3, top 4 teams really at this event are, well, pretty clear-cut. I think the top 4 teams in the game right now, if OpTic, of course, can keep performing as they are, I think the top 3 are certainly undisputed. Top 3 in one order or another. But Ultra, well, they lose 3-2 to FaZe in the end. What a tournament from them once again. These guys are looking so strong, but they just can't get past the juggernaut that is Atlanta FaZe at the present time. And this, I thought, was a crazy stat from Lion. They've now competed in 12 tournaments as an organisation and have now made 10 grand finals. That is just absolutely ridiculous stuff. And they go on to win this one. Their record in the grand finals hasn't been so good. I've had some questions about this team, whether they can ice up in the grand finals when they need to. Of course, up against a team like New York with relatively new players on the team, especially Hydra, are you expecting those guys to ice up in the grand finals? Probably you're more thinking that FaZe, you know, more LAN veterans really as those guys are, would have this ice factor, but they haven't really had it so far in their career, at least the last couple of years on Atlanta FaZe. But well, this time they do certainly get over the line. Phenomenal grand finals once again. Yes, it was a 9 mapper. Well, it was obviously a best of 9. Didn't go all 9 maps. Very late day for us over here in Europe, but you know, it was honestly phenomenal to stay up and watch this. There were some cracking moments in a lot of these maps. Early on, once again, it was New York Subliners showing such incredible form here in the hardpoints. Hydra had a phenomenal map. Clayster was getting super hyped to me. Let's go, Paco. You are so good. Hydra had a ridiculous game number 1. And honestly, he super hard shut down the SMGs on, well, Atlanta FaZe. The Tiny Terrors couldn't get anything going in this game 1. A seam early on, then it was Hydra in the late half of things. And once again, New York just looking so good on this map. But we go into a Search and Destroy, and this is where the other day New York actually beat Atlanta FaZe on this map Checkmate when they played them in the winners finals. This time it doesn't happen. Simp takes over in the round 11, gets 3 kills. It was the Simp and aBeZy show right here. I'm pretty sure both of them went 12-7 to end up closing out this map, but that was not exactly where it would end for the superstars on FaZe taking over. The next game, it was really Arcitys that came to play. This control was just absolutely ridiculous. The early part of the game, it seemed relatively back and forth. Then Arcitys went on like a 9 streak, got full streaks, ended up like 11-1, finished the game double positive, like 23-10 or something. They won another control 3-0. Atlanta FaZe just cannot be stopped winning controls 3-0. They can't help themselves, apparently. I'm pretty sure this was the one that was their 11th victory this season in control, where they won in a 3-0 fashion. They just cannot be stopped. They move up 2-1, and well, the very next map as well goes the way of Atlanta FaZe. This was a Moscow hardpoint one that, well, clearly subliners have been pretty good at so far. However, Arcitys once again taken over with aplomb. I mean, 31-16 right here, double positive in the hardpoint. This guy just could not be stopped. And this is where, after they lost this hardpoint, subliners, you really felt like this series was getting away from them. It was probably once again going to go back to Atlanta FaZe winning the championship once again here at the Stage 4 Major. That is how it goes, but it was a somewhat surprising final, well, Miami Search and Destroy, the final Search and Destroy that we did see in the series. HEARTBREAK made a great play early on to clutch this 1 versus 2, and the subliners guys, I'm pretty sure, got 5-1 in this map or something to that effect. It well, kind of falls apart towards the end, but still, HEARTBREAK making plays, takes down, well, doesn't take down Simp, but Simp doesn't have enough time to get to the bomb to get this defuse. Many of the other rounds, I'm pretty sure they went like 5-0, 5-1, something like that, in a Search and Destroy where FaZe have been pretty struggling, honestly, on this map so far. But of course, if you are going to play a grand finals of a major, you're going to need to have a pretty damn deep map pool. And FaZe, of course, are hoping that was going to work out for them in Miami. It didn't, but of course, they bounced back in impressive fashion. This control was one of the maps of the weekend, to be honest. There was so many crazy moments in this. I thought at FaZe, okay, their control has been so damn good, they'll find a way to get over the line in this one. But the subliners have also been really good on this map. And it goes, as you can see right here, all the way down to around 5. This was ridiculous. FaZe had more lives, but they had barely any time to get to the point. And Simp gets in a massive 2-piece right there onto Mac and Hydra. Asim gets that kill, and Asim only has to stay alive. I'll pause it right here. So there's 1.5 seconds on the clock. The 2 guys on the subliners are so far away, they have no chance of getting here in time. So it all comes down to this 1 versus 1. If Asim wins this 1v1, then the clock will run out, and well, New York subliners will win this map and tie the series up 3-3. This 1 versus 1 pretty much, I think, decided the way this series went, or at least decided if, well, New York subliners got some more opportunities on further maps. But Arcitys wins it with the pistol of all weapons. This guy just, honestly, I don't understand the Decemate in this guy's hands. Had an absolutely incredible series. The FaZe guys got super hyped. I mean, obviously heartbreaking for the subliners as well. And after they lost that, it kind of felt like it was going to get away from them. We go into a Search and Destroy right here, and FaZe absolutely dominate it. Cellium gets a 3-piece, which you do not see every day. They close this out in pretty impressive fashion, and there it is, Atlanta FaZe, after winning the Stage 1 Major, falling short to Ultra in the Stage 2 Major, come back in incredible fashion here and win the Stage 3 Major up against the subliners. What a team these guys are. And who can potentially take this squad down going forwards? They had a little bit of a lull in Stage 2, certainly, but they're back on top form here, beating some incredibly good teams. Taking down the subliners in the fashion they did, not easy to do. Taking down Ultra as they did, not easy to do also by any means. And well, once again, they win the championship. Incredible team, especially given the fact that Simp really didn't have a great tournament by his standards, at least statistically. It was the other guys incredibly much shaking over, and Arcitys, or given he's had some flack lately, certainly from, well, some community members, for understandable reasons, given he hasn't necessarily been putting up crazy numbers, but he's shown here that he certainly deserves his spot on this team. And let's not forget, the very next Major 4 is going to be hosted by Dallas, I think technically something, well, pretty much this time next month, and that is going to be back in a LAN environment. Please take your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. You enjoyed this content, other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I'll grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.